Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your friend here, Razaz Retro, and today I wanted to share a story, some memories of Shan, in particular about his favorite wrestler from WWF, which was The Undertaker. Just so you guys have something to look at, you'll be seeing me playing WrestleMania, the arcade game. I won't be talking about the game itself, I just actually want to share the story. And I thought a good way to share it is actually for you guys to have something to watch. Don't mind my bad gameplay, more than the gameplay itself. The thing that's important here is the actual story. So as you guys know, me and Sean were big wrestling fans. We were really watching it in around 1996, particularly WCW. But prior to that, like I think around 93, 94, 95. Sean was watching wrestling, but he wasn't watching it like religiously, but he was following it. But he was following WWF. But around 1996, that's when me and Sean got into wrestling together, and we were watching both WCW and WWF. But basically, the story that I wanted to share with you guys today, and I've been meaning to share it. I just I didn't get the chance, and also I didn't really know how I wanted to go about it. But I finally decided that by just having some gameplay footage in the back, um, I thought it would be pretty cool, and just for me to explain a particular memory that I had. So when Sean was in high school, there was like this commercial contest that was going on, local commercial, about drinking and driving. And they were asking high school students to get involved. If your commercial gets picked, basically it gets aired on TV, and at the same time, I think there was like like a small prize money that you get, and so on and so forth. But the main thing that appealed to all the people that tried out was to have their commercial on TV. So Sean had the idea with his friends that they wanted to do something Undertaker related. Now, if I remember correctly, the idea was is that Sean would dress up like the Undertaker, and they would show a scene of somebody who's like drinking or driving, or somebody who is dead due to drinking and driving, and then Sean would appear as the Undertaker to say that something along the lines that if you do drink and drive, then you will meet me, the Undertaker, and this will be your final destination. I don't know if I'm quoting this properly, 'cause, I was a little kid, but I did have this particular memory that he had the idea of dressing up as the Undertaker, and to to convey that message. And at the time when he told me about the commercial that he was auditioning for, I thought it was a fantastic idea, and I think a lot of people did. Unfortunately, his entry with his friends, they did not win. They came close, but ultimately they did not end up winning. But just the idea itself, I thought it was pretty cool. So the reason why I wanted to share this story was just to show, how much an influence wrestlers had on, people growing up in the 80s or the 90s and early 2000s. He used a wrestling gimmick to come up with a very good idea and to convey a very important message, to, to not drink and to not drive. And I thought it was pretty cool. At the same time, I just wanted to talk a bit about The Undertaker. As you guys know, Sting was Sean's favorite wrestler, but The Undertaker was Sean's favorite wrestler in WWF, along with the Ultimate Warrior. Sean really loved, these guys, Sting and The Undertaker. During high school, his persona, if you will, was evolved, was like, was really to kind of like, imitate them, walk like them, act like how most people in high school were doing. And Yeah, he was just he really loved the work that The Undertaker was doing in WWF, especially at that time when he was doing his whole Ministry of Darkness phase. Him and his friends would joke around that, we have a ministry, we are the Ministry of Darkness. Sean is not a dark person, nor does he believe in darkness, but, it's just the little things that him and his friends would do. And it was a beautiful time to be a wrestling fan. I remember seeing somewhere in his yearbook, and if I ever get a chance to pull it out, I'll share it with you guys. That like when your friends write that message, like what you're most likely going to end up doing in life, or what you're, most like what you'll achieve or what you'll become. Everyone knew that he loves wrestling so much, and that he loves Sting and the Undertaker so much, that somebody wrote, I don't know which friend it was in particular, but basically the message they wrote for him is most likely to be undertaken by Sting. um, at the time, it's kind of like funny, or whatnot, but um, now that I think about it, from Sean's graduating class, I do believe he was the first one to pass away. So that quote, it hits quite hard, because you know he he was undertaken, obviously not by Sting, but by life itself, right? We all have to go one day. But when I read that quote now, it does hit quite differently, compared to obviously when he was alive. I thought it was silly. Obviously, the person that wrote that didn't predict the future or mean anything by it. It was just more like, because he loved Undertaker and Sting, that like he's been undertaken by their influence. But for those that know Undertaker, that's his story, right? It's all about death, and about you know being an Undertaker and burying his opponents alive, or putting them in a casket. But really, the story that I really wanted to get across today was just how wrestlers had such an impact on people growing up in the 80s and 90s, and people would come up with a lot of great ideas. It wasn't just during Halloween, so I thought I'd just share that with you guys. Um, and I hope, for those that listen to it, uh, really enjoyed the story itself. Um, at the same time, just a big shout out to everybody that have been taking part in the Shan and Raza Cup. It is greatly appreciated. I do have a video coming out for that soon as well. And I'll just take the time to say thank you. Always remain retro. Life is like a game. You decide how you got to play it, or how you want to play it. All you got to do is just hit the start button. Until then, everyone, take care. God bless. Cheers.